Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, welcome to the Quebec Meets Seoul sample of Quebec's innovation session. My name is Jin, and it is my great honor and pleasure to be here as your MC today. Today, we will be sharing success stories of cooperation between Korea and Quebec, programs for cooperation, and IR pitchings from Quebec startup companies. Then, without further ado, let us now begin the session. First of all, I would like to invite Mr. Damien Berrera, Chief Representative of the Quebec government in Seoul, to deliver his congratulatory remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, please greet him with a big round of applause. 네, 큰 박수로 맞이해 주시기 바랍니다.
여러분 안녕하세요. Bonjour à tous. Good morning. Welcome and thank you for joining this Quebec Meets Seoul session. I'm Damien Perra, the Quebec Chief Representative of the Government of Quebec in Seoul. And it's a very great pleasure for me to participate in this first edition, for the first time at this edition of Try Everything. So I'd like to thank first the Seoul Metropolitan Government and Seoul Business Agency, MIL Media Group, for the organization of this remarkable event that we are really happy to attend this year. If you didn't have the chance, I will invite you after to visit our Quebec pavilion, where you can speak and engage more with all our companies. In the next session, you will have the chance to discover some of the great deals that we have in our innovation ecosystems. And it's my pleasure to introduce 6 companies that will be presenting today: Airport AI, Bureau AI, Brusonics, Cubic Space, Paprika Data Labs, and Zebra Strategy, which is an international agency that supports startups. With this unique ecosystem, Quebec ranks amongst the best in the world in deep tech technologies. As a Canadian jurisdiction, we are the province that spends the most in terms of GDP for research. A concrete example of the ability of Quebec to stand out internationally is the recent strategy for innovation zone. So we created 4 innovation zones that are located throughout the province of Quebec, and the 4 first ones are dedicated to quantum technologies, intelligent electronic ecosystem, energy transition, and advanced air mobility. So you will hear a little bit of that today as well. So many innovative sectors that are helping us to strengthen our relation with Korea. Although the population and the scale is different, Quebec, largest city, Montreal, is also known as a world-class for startups innovation city. And I'm not sure if you know, but many of the world-leading companies, including Google, Samsung, Meta, have established their AI R&D centers in Montreal. There are more than 35,000 experts in AI skilled in Montreal, and more than 24,000 university students enroll in AI-related programs. And Montreal is also like the first city in Canada for university research funding. So with all this great collaboration, we also recently signed a friendship and cooperation agreement with the Seoul Metropolitan Government in the way to increase our collaboration with the Seoul Metropolitan City from innovation all the way to culture. So we have quite a lot of startup in innovation collaboration between Quebec and Seoul. And one of our organizations, Mila, where the team is here today, over there, Frederic as well. So they are already having a collaboration with Seoul AI Hub to facilitate the welcoming and incubation of Seoul startups in Montreal. So I'll invite you to engage maybe with Mila after, which is the largest AI research center in the world with more than 1,200 researchers based in Montreal and led by Yoshua Benjo, a Turing Prize winner. So stay tuned. You will hear a lot about innovation, about research, and you will hear of our 6 great companies presenting today. They will give you a bit of a taste of what we have to offer in Quebec. And once again, thank you for taking the time to attend this session. It's a great pleasure to welcome you here today. Merci beaucoup. 감사합니다.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much for your warm words. You may now return back to your seat. Thank you very much once again. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we will dive right into the presentation. But before we start, please make sure to adhere to the time shown on the timer in front of you. Then first, I would like to invite Mr. Andrew Lim, the Research and Innovation Attaché of the Quebec government in Seoul, and he will be speaking on Introduction to Quebec, Success Stories and Opportunities for Cooperation. Ladies and gentlemen, please greet him with a big round of applause.
All right, hello everyone. My name is Andrew. Thank you for the introduction. And like I said, I would also like to thank the organizers. We've been working on this for quite a few months now. They have provided us with the booth support for the startups to come. So I would like to thank SBA and Seoul Metropolitan Government once again. All right, so without further ado, I will talk about Quebec's innovation ecosystem. But the most important thing I would like to deliver to you today is some of the successful cases of Quebec-Korea collaboration. I think that's very important because you guys could emulate this. But also, we do have international joint research programs where startups from Quebec and Korea or companies could join together and get some funding. So I'll talk about those things more detail. But before that, I would assume, yes, we have Quebec speakers here today, but a lot of you are Koreans, so I would like to give you a quick introduction about Canada, Quebec, what we do, and then I'll get into the details. So some basic information. So that is Canada. Canada is very big, I'm sure you guys know. For some comparison, Canada has about 42 million people roughly right now. I'm sure you guys know Korea has about 52 million. So Canada is, yes, much bigger, but Korea has a larger population. Other cool things, there's about 250,000 ethnic Koreans living in Canada. Vice versa, in Korea, there's about 20,000-ish Canadians, including myself, living in Korea right now. So there's a lot of good exchange as well. As you could see, Quebec is situated in the eastern part of Canada. Yes, we are still part of Canada, although Quebec has a lot of more independence, but I'll skip on that. So this is Quebec. Canada's very big. We have the northern territories. We have the territories on the north where people don't live that much, but obviously Quebec is there. And Quebec City is the capital city of Quebec. You probably know Quebec City is known well in Korea for the drama Dokkaebi. Maybe some of you heard of this. Maybe some of you have been to the Dokkaebi kind of area. I guess if you translate this, it's called Goblin. So I think it was filmed in 2017. So that's that. Very important thing. So I am a research and innovation attaché at the Quebec government office here in Seoul. And my job is to facilitate science, technology, innovation collaboration between Quebec and Korea. So how did this happen? I'm sure you guys know Korea, Canada, and other advanced countries, they sign FTAs, obviously, to promote trade, to promote international business. And Korea and Canada signed something called an STI agreement, Science, Technology, and Innovation Agreement, around 2016-17. And thanks to this agreement, in part, that's why my job has been created. And there's also another person, a counterpart like myself, in the Embassy of Korea that does similar work. So basically, our job is help collaboration between Quebec and Korea in terms of science, technology, innovation. And that is why we brought some startups here today to meet the Koreans and try to do some collaboration together. So some basic information on Quebec now. Quebec has about 8.6 million population. I think Seoul has a bit less than 10 million, but obviously Quebec has a much larger territory. And some cool facts is in Korea or in Seoul, I guess more about Korea, Korea is a bit more based on conglomerates. I'm sure you guys know chaebols. There's Samsung, LG, Hanwha. They kind of drive the economy. I heard that I think Samsung represents almost 20% of the Korea's GDP. Unlike Korea, Quebec is a bit more about SMEs, startups, smaller companies. There are bigger companies in Quebec as well, such as CAE, Pratt & Whitney, but Quebec is a little bit more on startups and SMEs. Hence, we have a great startup ecosystem. Some other cool things I always mention about Quebec is when we try to attract business or have collaboration, we say, yes, everyone wants to go to America, but America is very competitive. So why don't you come to Quebec first, develop some collaboration, create a portfolio, and then maybe engage with America. So we kind of do some sales pitch this way. So that's that. Some cool things about Quebec. Quebec is a big province. It's actually 17 times the size of Korea. Canada is much bigger, but even so, Quebec is a very big nation. Some cool things, but I'm going to skip on this. One very, very interesting aspect about Quebec is Quebec engages a lot in its own foreign affairs. So we do have a Ministry of International Relations as well. And you could see from the map, Quebec has a lot of offices around the world, mainly to do FDI and trade, sometimes culture, but some of the offices have positions like myself where they engage in science, technology, innovation collaboration. For example, in Tokyo, I think they opened the office like many decades ago, and Tokyo is probably the biggest office in Asia from what I know. I think they have about almost 30 people. In our office, we have about 12 people, if I remember correctly. Yes, 11, 12 people at our office. As you could see, the biggest focus is export, to help Quebec companies export their product, service, solutions to Korea. But also we have FDI, we have culture, we also have research innovation. We also have a public affairs attaché as well, because we understand government relations are very, very important. So and of course, there's other cool things. One thing, really cool thing about Quebec is technically, Quebec is a province, but Quebec is good at many, many things. Aerospace, agri-food, aluminum, mining, ground transportation, AI, of course. What's kind of interesting I like to highlight is aerospace. If you really think about it, there aren't that many nations that are able to produce their own aircraft. Of course, there's Embraer from Brazil. We know Boeing, America, Airbus, France. But in Montreal or in Quebec, we have Bombardier. Yes, so there's a very interesting ecosystem of aerospace, and because of this, we'll actually be bringing an aerospace mission to Korea in end of October. So we could also collaborate on that, but due to the time, I'll skip a lot of these things. So my work basically is to help companies, institutions, universities, startups, businesses from Quebec do research innovation with Korea. So maybe some of them want market information that I'll provide this. They might want some joint research partners. I'll find them this, et cetera, et cetera. So we're always out there sharing information, because when we mention Quebec and Canada, maybe they know it for maple syrup or Rocky Mountains or nature. But Quebec, Canada, we have great science, technology, great universities, McGill, U of T, AI. So we're always out there promoting Quebec, because if you don't know what Quebec actually does, it's very difficult to work together. So that's that. Diplomacy and promotion is very important. Government-to-government relation is very, very important for research innovation. Quite often, many institutions are funded by the government, and startups, companies, they need this kind of resources. So we already have many partners in the research innovation ecosystem from Quebec working with Korea. Damien also mentioned Mila, they're back there. You probably don't recognize these people, but I'm sure you recognize the Korean institutions that we partnered or are already collaborating with from in Korea. And one of them is actually here today. Stepi actually is in the audience today. I'll introduce you to them later. They've actually went to Quebec and checked out the research innovation ecosystem. So that's that. Many Korean companies in Quebec, but due to the time, I'll skip this. Also, many Quebec companies in Korea as well. I already mentioned Pratt & Whitney. CAE is a flight simulator company. They're already based in Korea near Gimpo Airport. They work with Korean Air, et cetera, et cetera. So why would people want to collaborate with Quebec? We don't have that much time, but basically, like many other nations, we have this kind of innovation plan, usually 5-year plan. We're going to focus on AI. Here's the budget, etc. The key thing here you need to know is Korea, Quebec, and Canada too. Many of the priority sectors are the same or similar. So that's a no-brainer reason to collaborate together. Yes, and Korea is, of course, very strong in infrastructure, very strong in applying fundamentals to commercialization. Quebec is a bit better on fundamentals, which one of the things I always mention, this is actually from my friend there, Frederick. For example, AI, Quebec is a bit better on fundamental basic research, where Korea is a bit better on commercialization with their big conglomerates. So that's that. Basically, to sum up, Quebec spends a lot of money on R&D, and that is why there's a position like myself here in Korea. I'm not going to go through the details too much. Many R&D business, many R&D jobs from Canada, Quebec is number one, but I'll skip a lot of this. One very interesting thing too, R&D, AI, capital-intensive industries like batteries, they're situated in Quebec, and one of the biggest reason is Quebec's electricity generation is mostly renewable. As you could see here, it's about almost 100% hydroelectricity. And that makes Quebec very unique, very competitive in terms of AI, computing, et cetera. On the left, you could see Korea is getting there. They have reasonable nuclear energy, but still Korea uses a lot of fossil fuels, which is obviously not good for ESG, et cetera. I mentioned Quebec is good at many things, but I'll skip all that. Quebec does also have a research industrial cluster, but my colleague Besma will talk about this a bit more in the next presentation. Basically, Quebec has a very good AI ecosystem for many reasons. Mila's already here. We have Joshua Bengio. There's a lot of budget for this, etc. But I'm going to skip this. So there's many good things about the Quebec innovation ecosystem. Great quality of life. There's a lot of VCs, a lot of funding available. Affordable employees, also as well as many AI talent from Quebec. So it's a very good place to do AI work. And because of all this great AI ecosystem enablers, as Damian mentioned, we have a lot of top multinational companies situated in the Montreal area doing AI research. Samsung is there, Meta, Google, etc. But I'm not going to go into too much detail. So the more important stuff, successful collaboration. So a lot of Koreans, we have them sent to Quebec. As I mentioned, Steppy was in Quebec recently. A lot of connection happened because there has to be people meetings. So a lot of Quebec people come, as the startups are here today. We also have a lot of Koreans go to Quebec, and that's very important for our work. So to sum this up very quickly, Seoul Digital Foundation is an entity under the Seoul government. With their budget, we were able to send a Korean company to do a POC, proof of concept, in Quebec. It was a medical company called iMedicine. They worked with Mila, Mikil, all these great partners. They did their kind of not a full-blown clinical trial, but they did kind of a pre-diagnostic clinical trial. It's a helmet. It measures EEGs. So they were able to test out their product, meet people, do business development in Quebec. Very successful case because Quebec is known for their biotech innovation ecosystem as well. And quite often I promote Quebec in that if you want to also do clinical trial, Quebec is very multi-ethnic, very multicultural. So you could do very good clinical trials this way. I'm not going to go through this. We do a lot of collaboration in AI ethics. There'll be a report on this soon. We also send many Korean companies to do proof of concept just on their own. So there's a collaboration going on with Radisson and Yulcom, but I'm going to skip this. Also, we have Quebec startups come to Korea and they set up shop here. But I'm going to skip this as well. Also, as Damian mentioned, we work very closely with the Seoul Metropolitan Government. We work with them for years to get that collaboration going. So we did sign the agreement when the Vice Mayor went to Quebec last month. Also, yes, and many other collaborative cases. We had a quantummission.com. We collaborate with KAIST, etc. But I'm going to skip this as well. So the more important things, the collaboration programs for you guys, for Quebec startups, Korean startups, or Korean companies, entities to do things together. So as I mentioned, we have many missions. We bring a lot of Quebec people here, or we take Koreans, because ultimately for collaboration to happen, you have to meet. And then, maybe talk over a beer, build the trust, and then do things together. So, as I mentioned, the STI agreement, from there, this program was formed. It's called the Canada International Innovation Program. It's Canada, Korea only. So, if Koreans and Canadians, startups, companies, they meet, they form a partnership, and they apply for this program. It's open every year. It's deep tech. And they give you up to 1.5 million Canadians. That's $1.3 US for 3 years. So around 400,000 to 500,000 per year if you do get this. So if you do want some funding, joint research funding from the government, maybe after this session, you could talk to some of the Quebec entities there, talk about a possibility of applying for this program together. It's with Kiat from Korean side and NRC from the Canadian side, and it's open every year. I think it opens every March. So do talk to us if you'd like to find a partner to apply for this. We also do have the Prima Quebec NRF research program. This one is on advanced materials and quantum. The research funding is a bit less, around 320,000, but also this is very good because it's only for Quebec and Korea. So it's not even open to all of Canada. Hence, we have less applicants, let's say. So it's a very successful program as well. So if you do advanced materials or quantum, do talk to us about this as well. There's a lot of startup exchange programs we established. For example, one with Mila, but I'm not going to talk about this too much. But I guess I will. So basically, we have Seoul AI Hub startups in Mila right now doing scientists in residence programs. So as I mentioned, we do have Mila people here today, Frederick and Justine. So if you'd like to talk to them to see if you guys can also collaborate Mila in terms of AI, please do talk to us. But yes, these startups are actually at Mila in Montreal, and they'll be there for 4 months. So they've been there since June. So their program will end in October. And also, very important thing, as I mentioned, for collaboration, I understand during Corona it was very digital, but still we need to meet, we need to shake hands and build trust. So we're bringing a lot of Quebec delegations soon. So for example, in early October, we'll be bringing people for the Seoul Smart Life Week. That's also another Seoul-based conference on startups. It'll be in COEX. And for this, we'll be bringing some mayors from our innovation zone. So if you guys are interested, do talk to us about this as well. We also have a Canadian-wide semiconductor mission as well. So if you guys do semiconductors, do talk to us. They are coming in end of October as well. And also, I mentioned the aerospace mission. We're coming for the QUAM. Besma will talk about this a bit more, but if you would like to collaborate with Quebec in terms of aerospace, do talk to us as well. And I think that's it. So thank you. 감사합니다. Merci.
Thank you very much for your informative presentation. Next, ladies and gentlemen, our next presentation will be on Quebec's unique approach to innovation, and this will be delivered by Ms. Vesma Benrechem, the scientist in residence of the Quebec government in Seoul. Please greet her with a big round of applause.
How are you? Hello? Hello? Okay. 안녕하세요, everyone. I hope you can hear me. The sound is a bit low. But hi, everyone. So I'm from the Quebec Government Office, just like Andrew. I work closely with Andrew in research and innovation files. I mostly focus on research collaborations between South Korea and Quebec, as well as assisting government initiatives in science. So I'm going to be talking mostly about the research ecosystem. I think that, let me see. Oh, there you go. So I'm going to skip this part. I think Andrew gave a pretty good presentation about Quebec. I hope we're going to see you all in the next months. So maybe the tourism is going to increase in Quebec. So I'm going to skip this. And I'll go there. So Quebec has a very good research and development ecosystem. So we invest a lot in our research and innovation. You may have heard about Quebec from the AI ecosystem, the Yoshua Bengio, Mila, and so on, or maybe from the aerospace ecosystem with Bombardier, Bell, and whatnot. But we're also strong in a lot of other fields, so including quantum, cybersecurity, biotech, advanced material, and so on. So I'll be giving a bit more example later on. And which is why we do have our own representations abroad. So we are a Canadian province, but we do have independent representations abroad. So most of them are going to be, is there a laser? Oh, there you go. So most of them are going to be in the US. We do have some of them in Europe, Africa, and of course in Asia. So our office is located in Seoul in the Gwanghwamun area. And this is our team, of course. So we do research and innovation, exportations, foreign direct investment, cultural affairs, and public affairs. Please note that we do not support sales in Canada, in the Canadian market, but we do have one company with us here today that's going to be able to help you understand the Canadian market. It's Zebra Solutions, so she'll be presenting after me. There you go. So why am I here? Why is Andrew here? It's basically because the Korean and Quebec governments have very similar priorities when it comes to research and innovation. So we've spoken a lot. Oh, let me see. Oh, there you go. So we've spoken about AI, of course, quantum and so on, but these are the priorities for our government in the next years, and as you can see, they're very similar to the Korean ones. Andrew showed this, so the Quebec partners working with Korea, the Korean partners that we are working with. So we work with a variety of partners, research institutes, funding agencies, companies, and so on. Okay, and this is the main theme of my presentation. So Andrew spoke a lot about, the startups, exchange programs that we have, some proof of concepts. I want you to understand a bit better what we do in Quebec in terms of research and innovation. So as I mentioned, Quebec is very research and innovation oriented. So we do invest a lot in our R&D. In terms of GDP, actually, let me just, there you go. So in terms of GDP, if you look here, Quebec actually invests more in research and development than Canada as a whole, but also more than any other Canadian province. So we are up here, we're getting more and more into our research and innovation. Oh. Let me see. There's a bit of an issue. What? Yeah? Oh, there you go. Sorry about that. Anyway, so this is our ecosystem. So as any nation that is heavily involved in research and innovation, we do have a pretty complex ecosystem. And we do have actors in the whole cycle of innovation. So from the very fundamental research all the way up, oh, I have to stop clicking. There you go. Okay. So from the very fundamental research all the way up to tech transfer and commercialization. And when I put in orange here are the actors that we often work with at our Quebec delegation. So we do work with actors from all over the cycle of innovation. And of course, because we're a Canadian province, we also collaborate with the federal agencies. So for example, the National Research Council of Canada, the 3 granting agencies, MyTax, and so on. So we do have this advantage of being able to pool both the provincial funding and the provincial resources, but also the federal ones. Okay, once again, just give me a second. There you go. So just a bit more information about the provincial funding. So this is the governmental funding in Quebec. It's going to be divided into 2. When it comes to academics, we have the Research Fund of Quebec and the Ministry of Higher Education. So they're going to be investing mostly in the academic side. And then when we have a bit more innovation involved, so PME, startups, and so on, it's going to be our Ministry of Innovation, Energy, and Economy. Give me a second. Wait. There you go. So just a quick word about the research funds of Quebec. So they are the provincial agency for research, fundamental research. Just like the federal one, they're divided into 3 funds, one for nature and technology, one for health, and one for social sciences. And actually, the head of the research fund is Dr. Rémi Quirion. He's the chief scientist of Quebec. So he does advise the minister in terms of science, science diplomacy, research, and so on. And the research is going to be, so the funds are going to go towards research centers and universities. And these are our universities in Quebec. So we have about 19 of them all over the province of Quebec. And 3 of them are actually ranked among Canada's top 10 universities. So of course we have McGill University and University of Montreal located in Montreal City. And we also have Université Laval located in Quebec City. So as Andrew explained, we do have Quebec as a province, but also Quebec City as the national capital, of Quebec. So there's a bit of a difference. Don't get them confused. Okay, finally, so we got to the innovation part. So I've spoken a bit about the fundamental part, the academic side and whatnot. But of course, when we are speaking about innovation, we do need industrial partners. So in Quebec, we have what we call the industrial research clusters. So we have 9 of them. Each one of them is in a specific industry need. So just to explain a bit. So, sorry about that. There you go. So we have 9 of them. For example, one of them on energy transition, one of them on drugs, one of them on medical technologies, one of them on AI and ICT. So every one of them is on a specific field. And what they do is that they're going to help industries do research projects with relevant researchers from universities and research centers. They have funding, they do networking, so they're really here to make sure that the relevant partners get together in Quebec. And I'm going to be speaking about 2 of them in particular that are in the circle. Why? Because they collaborate with Korea, or they really want to collaborate with them. Let me just go back. There you go. So Prima Quebec is specialized in advanced material. Maybe some of you know of them already. And then CRIAC is specialized in the aerospace industry. There you go. So this is Quebec's ecosystem in advanced materials. We do have a lot of companies in advanced material, but our strength is in polymers and membranes, as well as metals, alloys, and metal powders. Hold up. I don't know how we did it, Andrew. I really struggle with this. Oh, there you go. So this is Prima Quebec, the industrial research clusters that I spoke about. These are some of their results, the projects that they funded, and some of their numbers. And more importantly for you guys, this is the joint research call for proposal that we have with Korea. So Andrew spoke about it before. It's with the National Research Foundation of Korea. So it is an advanced material, and in order to apply for this one, you need one industrial partner and one academic partner from each side. So Prima Quebec is going to fund the Quebec side, and the NRF is going to fund the Korean side. And of course, startups are eligible for this funding as long as your project is related to advanced material in some way. Any kind of advanced material is eligible for this one. And then the other area that I wanted to speak about is aerospace. So as I mentioned before, Quebec is very strong in aerospace. Actually, we have more than 70% of the Canadian R&D is done in Quebec. We call Quebec the national, or Montreal, the national capital of aerospace in Canada. And this is what CRIAC does. So CRIAC, as I said, is an industrial research cluster. They have a lot of members, they organize a lot of events, and they are your to-go-to reference if you want to collaborate in aerospace. And one of the things that I wanted to speak about today is an event that they organize that they call, let me see, RDV Forum. So it is a forum that they organize every 2 years. The next edition is going to be February 2025 in Montreal. And what they do is that they put together industries, professors, research institute, and so on, and they're going to present R&D proposals. So you'll go there. If you have an interesting proposal that you want to do with Quebec, you're just going to present it, and then someone will be interested in there, and they're going to suggest some kind of collaborations. So the registration is already open. You can already register to there, and if you have questions, please come ask me about it later. And just to show you what they've done already with Korea. So I was in Montreal in June, this past June, and we organized with a Korean research institute called KITEC, the first Korea-Canada Industrial Technology Innovation Forum. So we did it with KITEC here, as well as CRIAC and Prima. There was an MOU signature just to signify that Quebec and Korea really want to work in advanced material and aerospace. Okay, and finally, before I end the presentation, so I've spoken about the research clusters. Recently, the Quebec government announced what we call the innovation zones. So what is an innovation zone? It's an area in Quebec that is going to be specialized in one specific theme, and where you're going to have high-tech companies as well as big R&D platforms. They're all going to be together, so it's going to help them collaborate more efficiently and also accelerate the transition to market. And so far, we have 3 of them that are, announced and active. One of them in Sherbrooke City. It's called District Q. It's specialized in quantum technology. Actually, they were in Korea in February. We have another one in the city of Bromont. Andrew spoke about it before. It's on microelectronics. It's called Technom Quebec, and they're going to be coming to Korea in October. And then the last one is actually located in 3 cities that are here. So I'm going to Trois-Rivières, Shawinigan, and Bécancour. It is an innovation zone on energy transition. So they do a lot of things related to hydrogen, batteries, solar, renewable energy, and so on. And they will also be coming in October to Korea. I don't think I have time for this, so I'm just going to skip this really fast. Andrew mentioned some of them. So how do we collaborate with Korea? We do attend every year the Canada-Korea Conference on Science and Technology. This year was in Banff. The next year is going to be in Montreal. So if some of you want to come to Quebec, it's going to be a good opportunity for this. Of course, Korean delegations, Andrew saw this. So if some of you want to go to Quebec, you can reach out to us and we can do a schedule for you in Quebec. And we do organize missions in Korea. So we do bring Quebec delegations to Korea. Just some of the missions that we've done this year: a university mission, a research mission, a quantum mission. Of course, AI, we're very involved in AI. Mila came, Ivado came. We've done some missions on societal impacts of AI. We've had a AI mission as well. If I can just click. There you go, AI mission. Let me see. Okay. So I have 2 minutes left. I'll just speak about the programs for collaborations. Andrew presented some of them. I'll give you a bit more. Prima NRF, I don't have to speak about it again. As I said, it's the joint call with Prima Quebec. This one is what Andrew presented, so this is mostly for PMEs, whereas the other one, you needed an academic partner. This one is PME to PME. It's with the National Research Council of Canada. Our Ministry of International Relations have their own call for proposal as well. The next one is going to be launched in October, and you can use these funds, for example, to invite Quebec speakers, organize a conference with them. So the goal is really to start collaborating with Quebec. Horizon Europe, of course. So as you know, Canada has joined Horizon Europe as an associate country. Korea is going to do so next year. So we can see a lot of potential for collaborations in this side. MyTax, maybe some of them know them. So it's a federal agency, and the goal is to help research and mobility. So either between universities or between startups. So if you need a PhD student or some master's student to do your research, you can apply to the MyTax program, and you can have this expertise. And finally, Startup Exchange Program. So this is mainly Andrew's mandate. So if you have questions about it, you can come and ask him later. And great, I'm just in time to show you some of the upcoming missions so you can take a picture of it, because I will not be able to speak about everything. But what I want you to remember are what is highlighted. So we have an aerospace mission in October. We'll be bringing universities, research institutions, as well as companies, and they want to collaborate with Korea, either company to company or for research. So if you're in the aerospace field, please reach out to us. Smart Cities mission, so Andrew mentioned it. It's with the innovation zone of the energy transition. The goal for this one is battery collaborations and hydrogen collaborations. So if you do anything related to these fields as well, you can reach out to us. And lastly, promotion for Quebec. The Canada-Korea Conference 2025 will be in Montreal in the summer. Summer is a beautiful season to go to Quebec. So, please join this conference as well. And I think I am done. If I can just, there you go. So these are just the events that we're going to be participating in. Andrew showed it as well. We'll be participating in these three events with our Quebec delegations, so you can meet us here as well. And just in time. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you very much for the wonderful presentation. It was very informative and inspiring as well, and you were just in time. Thank you very much once again. And ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to the next presentation, and this will be given by Ms. So-young Jung, the CEO of Barrow AI. Her topic will be on a Korean startup's entry into Quebec. Ladies and gentlemen, she will be ready in a moment.
이게 백이에요? 얘는 뭐예요? 레이저.
So please greet her with a big round of applause.
안녕하세요. 저는 반려동물과의 양방향 소통을 만들어가는 베로 AI 대표 정소영이라고 합니다. 반갑습니다. 저는 오늘 제가 있는 퀘벡을 한국에 계신 여러분들께 제대로 자랑하고 싶다라는 마음으로 왔는데요. 한번 시작해 보도록 하겠습니다. 일단 퀘벡 제가 사진을 잘 고른 것 같은데 퀘벡 정말 아름답습니다. 살아보면 사실 문화가 유럽권인 건 아닌데 그런데 저런 어떤 유럽풍 빌딩과 고층 빌딩이 공존하는 굉장히 아름다운 도시입니다. 실제로 가보면 보이는 간판이나 들리는 소리에 프랑스어가 많아요. 아마 그래서 약간 유럽적인 유럽의 헤리티지가 더 많이 느껴지는 것 같기도 한데 일반적인 인사가 아마 들어보셨을 수도 있어요. 봉주르도 아니고 하이도 아니고 봉주르 하이가 한 묶음입니다. 저는 이러한 언어적 균형도 굉장히 아름답다고 생각하고 있습니다. 퀘벡에는 또 맛있는 음식도 많습니다. 맛이 정말 아름답습니다. 당연히 정통 프렌치 요리도 있는데요. 제가 뭔가 정의를 하기에는 퀘벡 퀴즈니다라고밖에 정의할 수 없는 좀 독특한 음식이 많고 또 그게 굉장히 맛있습니다. 퀘벡은 유럽처럼 보이지만 북미권 문화이고요. 프랑스어와 영어가 공존하고 프렌치 디쉬조차도 프렌치 음식조차도 퀘벡만의 맛을 냅니다. 그래서 사실 제가 외지인으로서 느끼는 퀘벡은 굉장히 융합에 익숙한 도시다라는 느낌을 많이 받습니다. 융합에 익숙하다는 게 사실 저 같은 창업자에게는 너무 소중한 문화예요. 왜냐하면 모든 융합의 문화에는 어떠한 어려움이나 도전이 따르게 되는데 이렇게 삶의 가치관에 영향을 주는 의식주에서조차 융합의 결과물을 볼 수 있다는 게 이 퀘벡의 분들이 스타트업의 도전을 얼마나 환영하는지를 나타내 주는 것 같습니다. 그래서 퀘벡의 스타트업은 제 생각에 두려워할 필요가 없는 곳이었습니다. 퀘벡은 항상 도전을 응원해주고 또 과감함을 편하지 않았습니다. 그래서 덕분에 저희 배로도 퀘벡의 문화 속에서 잘 성장을 하고 있습니다. 저희 회사 이름이 배로 AI인데요. 퀘벡의 사랑을 받고 있는 배로는 제가 입양한 강아지의 이름입니다. 저희 회사는 이종 간의 소통, 사람이 아닌 다른 종과의 의사 표현, 그리고 의사를 전달하고 받아내겠다라는 굉장히 도전적인 도전을 하고 있는 회사입니다. 아마 그게 퀘벡의 문화와도 잘 궁합이 맞았을 거라고 생각을 하는데요. 사실 저희의 비전인 터킹독, 개와 대화를 하겠다라는 게 한국이 아닌 어떠한 문화권에서는 실제로 진심으로 오랫동안 이어져온 꿈이기도 합니다. 특히 북미에서요. 1955년 디즈니에서 나온 굉장히 유명한 영화가 있습니다. 레이디 앤 트램프예요. 혹시 들어보셨을 수도 있을 것 같습니다. 1955년 한국은 한국전쟁의 여파로 아직 허덕일 때였는데 그때 미국에서는 부자 강아지와 가난한 강아지가 사랑에 빠지는 영화가 출시됐습니다. 55년도에도 북미에는 강아지 침대라는 개념이 있었고 강아지 주인은 강아지에게 사랑하는 마음을 담아서 이름이 적힌 목걸이를 선물했습니다. 1960년대에 발표된 제슨스라는 굉장히 유명한 애니메이션에서는 아스트로라는 강아지가 가족의 일원으로 등장을 하고 로봇과 같이 살아갑니다. 60년 되면 사실 한국에서는 강아지를 가족이라기보다는 가축으로 여기던 때던데요. 사실은 문화가 정말 많이 달랐던 거죠. 그래서 이렇게 북미에서는 강아지가 가족이다, 가족일 수 있다는 그 개념이, 관념이 정말 진심으로 오랫동안 이어져 왔고요. 그리고 특히 퀘벡에서 저는 배로 AI의 비전에 정말 깊게 공감하고 그리고 정말 응원해주고 우리의 기술을 기다려주는 분들을 만나게 됐습니다. 그래서 덕분에 저희는 그곳에서 이 꿈을 현실로 만들어가고 있습니다. 인터스페시스 커뮤니케이션. 근데 그 커뮤니케이션, 소통이라는 게 참 복잡 미묘합니다. 그건 꼭 이종 간이 아니라 서로 다른 종끼리가 아니라 사람끼리도 마찬가지인데요. 눈치를 봐야 돼서 그렇습니다. 눈치를 본다라는 걸 조금 더 전문적인 과학적인 표현으로 바꿔보자면 상대방의 문맥을, 상대방의 컨텍스트를 이해하는 행위를 해야만 한다라는 겁니다. 예를 들어서 누군가가 화를 냈을 때 혹시 내가 문화적으로 잘 몰라서 결례를 범한 건지, 혹은 저 사람은 맨날 화만 내는 사람인지, 아니면 평생 한 번도 안 내던 화를 나한테 내는 건지, 그게 나 때문인지 보스한테 깨져서인지 집안에 우환이 있는 건지, 그러한 상대방이 속한 문화 그리고 개인의 성격, 어떠한 순간에 매 순간의 전후 사정을 계속해서 머릿속으로는 종합적으로 이해를 하고 있어야 양방향의 소통이 원활하게 완성이 될 수 있습니다. 우리는 인지할 수 없지만 우리 뇌가 너무 똑똑해서 우리는 항상 소통을 할 때 이러한 노력을 하고 있고요. 이 노력은 강아지와의 소통에서도 반드시 필요합니다. 이것이 저희가 강아지의 입장에서의 컨텍스트에 집중하고 있는 이유입니다. 강아지는 우리가 듣지 못하는 걸 듣고요. 우리가 맡지 못하는 냄새를 맡습니다. 강아지는 산책을 할 때 사람의 얼굴을 처음 보지 않아요. 사람의 신발을 먼저 마주하는 세상에서 살고 있습니다. 여러분이 모두 다 알고 계신 챗GPT. GPT는 인간이 만든 텍스트 데이터로 세상을 이해합니다. 저희 배로 AI는요, 강아지가 느끼는 감각 데이터로 세상을 이해합니다. 사람이 정의한 텍스트 데이터가 아니라 강아지의 감각기관으로 입력된 시각, 청각, 후각, 멀티모달 데이터로 세상을 배우고 강아지의 지능을 고려해서 비언어적 신호를 언어적으로 정의해 줍니다. 말은 쉽게 했는데요. 쉽지 않은 길입니다. 이걸 가능하게 하려면 정말 세상에서 가장 다양하고 방대한 강아지의 데이터가 필요한데 역사적으로 그 어떤 회사에서도 그 어떤 기관에서도 이러한 데이터를 모은 적이 없습니다. 그래서 저희는 지속 가능한 강아지 입장의 데이터를 모으는 데이터 수집 방법을 구축하는 것에 집중을 했습니다. 강아지의 감각기관을 미러링할 수 있는 멀티모달 디바이스를 만들고요. 견주를 끌어들일 수 있는 게이미피케이션이 부과된 모바일 앱과 IoT 플랫폼을 만들고요. 그리고 그걸 통해서 한 번도 연구된 적이 없는 강아지에 대한 멀티모달 데이터를 해석할 수 있는 AI 아키텍처를 구성했습니다. 이걸 제대로 해내기 위해서 저희가 몬트리올에 갔습니다. 사실 저희는 캐나다 전역에서 사업을 하는 회사이기 때문에 다른 지역에도 오피스가 있기는 합니다만 가장 핵심이 되는 멀티모달 AI R&D 조직이 몬트리올, 퀘벡에 있는 몬트리올에 있습니다. 지금 앞에서 계속 이제 얘기가 나와서 외우셨을 수도 있어요. 퀘벡에는 굉장히 저명한 연구기관들이 많이 있습니다. 대표가 밀라인데요. 제가 앞선 분들이 말하지 않은 비밀을 하나 알려드리려고 합니다. 밀라에는 많은 대기업이 입주해 있는데 그 중에서도 특히 메타의 오픈 생태계를 주관하는 수뇌부가 밀라에 있습니다. 그래서인지 몰라도 밀라는 일반적인 LLM, 텍스트 LLM이나 컴퓨터 비전, 강화학습이 아니라 여러 모달리티를 융합하는 부분에 대해서 좋은 연구를 해내고 있는 기관 중에 하나입니다. 저희가 연구하고 있는 분야와 굉장히 잘 맞기 때문에 저희는 몬트리올을 선택할 수밖에 없었고 당연히 밀라도 저희 비전에 공감해서 같이 파트너십을 가지고 연구를 진행하고 있습니다. 맥길은 말할 바 없는 컴퓨터 사이언스의 탑 유니버시티 중 하나이고요. 혹시 저희처럼 동물과 관련된 연구를 하는 스타트업이 계시다면 저는 몬트리올 대학교 수의대 병원과 이바도를 추천드리고 싶습니다. 몬트리올 대학교는 북미의 유일한 프렌치 동물병원을 운영하고 있고요. 또 굉장히 크고 그래서 굉장히 많은 케이스를 보유하고 있습니다. 몬트리올 대학교에서 굉장히 적극적으로 동물 복지와 관련된 AI 연구를 이바도와 같이 지원해주고 있기 때문에 좀 추천을 드리고 싶습니다. 몬트리올이나 퀘벡에는 이런 연구 조직 말고 지원 조직도 충분히 잘 되어 있습니다. 만나셨던 퀘벡 주정부, 인베스트먼트 퀘벡, 몬트리올 인터내셔널 같은 곳들이 있고요. 만약에 여러분들이 지사를 낸다면, 스타트업 분들이 지사를 낸다면 혹은 릴로케이팅을 한다면 저분들이 전문적으로 처음부터 끝까지 잘 도와주실 겁니다. 저도 도와드리겠습니다. 그래서 저희는 지금 저 퀘벡에 굉장히 스타트업의 우호적인 문화 속에서 강아지와 함께 좋은 연구를 이어나가고 있습니다. 일단 저희가 첫 번째 증인이 된 것에 대해 굉장히 감사하고 있고요. 일단 몬트리올에 굉장히 좋은 인재들이 많기 때문에 같이 연구 성과를 만들면서 올해 저희의 첫 번째 시제품이 출시가 됩니다. 이것도 꼭 말하고 싶었어요. 몬트리올에 개가 정말 많습니다. 저희는 몬트리올에서 배로를 서포터해주는 서포터즈 커뮤니티도 운영하고 있는데요. 아침 출근 전에 혹은 퇴근 직후에 집 앞에 나가면 한 2-3m 거리로 강아지들이 줄지어서 산책하는 것을 볼 수 있습니다. 엄청납니다. 그래서 저는 일단 이 몬트리올을 베이스로 동물, 이종, 그 간의 소통을 어떻게든 해석해서 많은 견주들을 행복하게 만들 기술을 만들어내고 있습니다. 좀 너무 빨리 끝났는데 이걸 어떻게 해야 될지 모르겠는데 네, 저희는 이 배로 AI는 사실 배로에 대한 제 개인적인 사랑으로 시작된 회사지만 저는 배로 AI의 기술이 전 세계 9억 마리의 9억 마리의 반려견과 견주들을 행복하게 만들 기술을 퍼뜨릴 수 있다고 믿고 있고 해내겠습니다. 여기 AI 스타트업 분들이 많이 오셨어요. 서울에서도 오셨고 외국에서도 많이 오셨는데 모든 AI 기업 분들께 밝은 미래가 있기를 기원드리고 만약에 새로운 시작을 꿈꾸신다면 퀘벡에 오시는 것도 추천을 드리고 싶습니다. 오늘 이렇게 좋은 오랜만에 제가 정말 서울에 오랜만에 왔는데요. 이렇게 좋은 기회를 주셔서 영광이고 감사하고 다음번에는 퀘벡에서 뵐 수 있기를 바라고 있겠습니다. 감사합니다.
Thank you very much for the wonderful presentation. Hear the unspoken and see the unseen. I believe that this is one of the most motivational yet revolutionary vision for pet owners and pets as well. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before we move on to the next presentation, I would like to apologize to Ms. Vesma. We had a little technical issue with the pointer, so sorry for the inconvenience if you are here. And next, we will proceed to the IR pitching session. We have 5 IR presentations ready. So first up is Justin Ren, the AI lead of Airport AI. Ladies and gentlemen, please greet him with a big round of applause.
Hello, can you guys hear me? Hello, can you guys hear me? Well, okay, great, yeah. So why don't I just start the presentation? So welcome to Airport AI's presentation, and I am Justin Ren, who is the AI lead at Airport AI, and I will be introducing you the company today. So let me give you a brief introduction of the company. So we are a Montreal-based AI solution company with a focus on airside. Some of the solutions that we do are listed here. For example, airside safety. Another one would be turnaround optimizations. We are supported by the Quebec AI ecosystems. An example of it would be Mila. And before I introduce you the problems that we are solving, let me ask you guys a small questions. Have you guys ever experienced any flight delays in your life? And how long does it take? In the past, I feel like my flight is always delayed, so someone must be doing something to make my life worse because other people is not telling me that their flight is delayed. And then I realized, no, everybody's flight is delayed as in my late life. So, have you ever questioned why the flight is delayed? It's actually the aircraft turnaround. And this is responsible for more than 69% of the flight delays. Now you might want to question me, what is turnaround? Is it, okay, it's simple as that. Imagine that I'm an airplane. Okay, now I land. I turn around and leave. Of course, in airplane world, it's much more complicated than that. You actually have to do a lot of process before you can leave to take off for another trip. An example of them would be refueling and cleaning of the aircraft. But all these are underperforming, which causes your flight delays. Well, 10 to 20 minutes in our perspective might not be too much because we are used to it. We're used to flight delays in our life, but to the aircraft company, it's not. Every minute directly costs them $100. Imagine if every single flight is costing them $100 times 10 minutes, 20 minutes, that would be a crazy amount of money in a day to just lost. And we calculate different types of airplane or aircraft in North America, their average dollar loss per flight. And you can see here, surprisingly, I found United Airlines, which is always late in my perspective, because I'm never ride a United Airline on time here. They're dealing with the situation pretty well, only losing $1,000 to $2,000 at the very end. But that is still a lot of money per flight. So now, let me introduce you. This is where Airport AI comes in. We have an airside management system that helps airport to get on time. Let me show you a demo because that's much more easier. And okay, this is a video. As you can see, we are processing the image on the very left. And then if you look at here, you see the jet bridge and also the wheel shock. All the procedure are tracked, and then they will be shown on the screen to make sure everything is right, rather than communicating through paper or telephone or maybe smart devices. The communication would cost time. Right now, it's plainly AI. Forget about human. Okay, I will just let it play. And you can also see reveal, jet bridge, everything. And now, this is the solution one. This is what we are proud of. We are always doing this turnaround optimizations in our company that we help aircraft to maximize and optimize their time when they're going for the next flight. So, in the past, the tower only sees the image. Imagine a 1K camera with nothing. So you don't see all these squares, you don't see no data on the screen, and you're just plainly telling by eyes, like, okay, the airplane, okay, something's wrong. So how long would it take for you guys to figure it out something's wrong in this place? That would take 2 to 3 minutes, and that would cause the airplane delays. But right now, with our software and with our AI detecting system, they no longer have to look by eyes. AI will replace them. AI will be their eyes. And you can see all this data here, all the procedure. It's not too clean, but in the bottom, it's actually the procedure with a timestamp on it. So exactly what time the plane is finished, like moving to next steps and about to take off, it will be shown on the screen right now. So we have been working with more than 20 airports, and we collect some data and did our research. We have done a lot of economic impacts. For example, we saved 10 minutes per flight, and this data is not in wake. We did the research with the airplane company that is currently using our software. And each minute, keep in mind, each minute do save them $100. And we do have some environmental impacts and increase their client satisfactions. Now, not only that, we also do risk management system. What is risk management system? Is that an example would be, an easy one would be foreign objects on the runway. Imagining a group of birds blocking the way and you have to wait for them to fly away. But you can't just do it by your own. You have to call the professional in. And the communication would take time too. But right now, you don't have to look at the camera trying to see is there a bird on the runway. You would just get the notification right away. Push to your phone, push to your watch. The workers would deal with the situation right away. They no longer have to wait. And this is the solution too. And this is a view of the safety, real-time safety view of our software. So as you can see on the bottom right, there is a truck on here. Okay, now I know how to use the laser. And then this truck is on the way, so it will be alert right away. It's in the unwanted position. And besides, we also do solution 3, which is not working. I suppose this is not working well. Okay, yeah, there. So this is solution 3. We do common logistic inspections, like CCTV and storage, and also luggage inspections. But this is last thing that we do. Now, enough about our solution. Let me introduce you to the market. Let's talk about money. I believe most of you are interested in how much money we can make. So the total market size would be around 44 billion, as written here. And then we're looking at the sum on 2 billion on the right. Oh, great. And this is our team executive. We have our CEO on the top left and Mr. Bumi on the bottom right, being an AI lead between the CEO and the CTO. And we will thank our advisor, which give us great help. This is Albert. He was the former CFO at Montreal Airports. He gave us a lot of support and ideas throughout our developments. And this is our technology. We use CV, LVLM, 3D reconstructions, and LiDAR. If you guys are interested, then you guys can come to my booth and ask me questions regarding this, because I'm a tech guy. But since we only have 3 minutes left, I would take questions. Is there any questions? Okay, do I get my day off earlier? Okay, it seems I get my day off earlier. So let me confirm, no questions. So, okay. I would get my day off earlier. And thank you.
Thank you very much for the wonderful presentation, and you may now return back to your seat. Next, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce Mr. Hugo Pizon, the CEO of Brusonic. Yes, I believe he is ready now, so please greet him with a big round of applause.
Hi everyone, my name is Hugo Pizon. I'm CEO and founder of Brusonic. It's a startup based in Montreal, and we help brewers to aging beer in one day. So what's the problem in the brewing industry? When you age when you age the beer with hope, the process called the dry hopping process. It's just after the fermenting when you change the sugar in alcohol. And in a dry hopping, you just put the hop in a fermenter. And after you wait 5 days to infuse the flavor of the hop into the beer. And after, for the hop, you need to filtrate the hop from the beer. And you just flush out the beer on the floor to filtrate the hop. And you have 10% of loss of beer. And it represents 30% of revenue in the loss for the brewery. So the solution we have with Brusonic is focus ultrasonic wave on the hop to extract the flavor from the hop to the beer, and it takes just 5 hours instead of 5 days. So after, we have a filtration for the hop, and you can save with that 7.5% of beer you can sell after. So this technology is patent, and we are 20% more productive. A brewer made a calculation for us, and it can earn a profit 350 million won per year. So now we're in a certification from the last summer, and we start the commercialization for the autumn. And for the next year, we explore foreign market for another application. So that's why we are here today. The sales unit for our technology is 95 million won, and the number of breweries around the world is 20,000, and the half is in North America. So the market size in global is 450 billion won. To acquire the lead, we met the brewer in a trade show, and we publishing in the special journal. After, for convert the lead to the customer, we use just the direct sales and a reference plan. And after, for the growth, we just use a distribution network like a supplier or a manufacturing agent. So for our forecast, we plan to earn a revenue of 3 billion won for the third year, and we target like 5 sales on the first year of the commercialization, and the second 20 sales and 40 sales for the third year. The team, we are 2. So me, I found the company after my bachelor in engineering, and Mathieu come after He's as a CTO, and he have a bachelor in engineering. And sure, we are a beer lover, so we homebrew both at home. We're looking for an investment for the second year to support the commercialization and export the technology abroad. We ask like 800 million won for our seed round. And if you have any question, just feel free to ask me. And thanks for your listening.
Thank you very much for the compact presentation. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the next speaker I would like to introduce is Mr. Nicolas Routhier, President of 퀘벡 Space. Thank you very much. Please greet him with a big round of applause. 큰 박수 부탁드립니다.
Thank you very much. So it's a pleasure to be back in Seoul. I've been here many, many, many times. I love Korea, so fantastic place to be. Today I'm going to talk to you about 퀘벡 Space and our vision of bringing excellent, spectacular 3D to people everywhere. So 3D is a fascinating experience, and people have been doing 3D, believe it or not, for almost 200 years. So people in their homes in the 1800s, I mean, it's very old, they were taking pictures and watching pictures in 3D inside their homes. This is how they used to travel. And myself, I'm not that old. I'm old, but not that old. So I started with a Viewmaster. This is the little red toy there. And I was fascinated by how it brought me inside the world, and it connected me to places and to people and to events that I had experienced. Now, there were 3D TVs and Nintendo 3DS, but nowadays, there's a new wave happening. The first one comes from the VR and the MR headsets. So there are millions of these products out there. Samsung just announced they're having their own 3D monitor coming out. They also have a gaming monitor and a new XR headset. But the second big trend is spatial video. So now, iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max were able to take 3D videos. Now, all iPhone 16s are going to be able to do 3D photos and videos. Anybody that has an iPhone 16 in the future will be able to take 3D photos and videos. This is huge. This is the first time that hundreds of millions of people will be able to capture their own souvenirs in 3D. Now, even though there's major progress in terms of how to capture and to display, one major problem still remains, and it's quality. Because how many times have you heard people saying, oh, 3D hurts my eyes. Oh, 3D is not for me. Oh, 3D gives me a headache. That happens all the time. But in natural 3D, like we watch the world in 3D, no problem there. So what's happening there? Well, the thing is, people believe that 3D is a one-size-fits-all experience. You shoot, like in 2D. You shoot one place, you just dump it, and you watch it on whatever device you want. But if you do that with 3D, you will get compressor flat 3D, you will get uncomfortable 3D experience, and you won't be able to share your content with anyone. You're not even going to be able to Zoom or anything. These are major, major problems that have been going on for 200 years. And that's where we go, that's what we do now. We developed a technology, so it's not about creating content, it's not about distributing content or displaying it. We have a playback technology. Our software is able to take any 3D content and to perfectly adapt it so that it's 100% comfortable for anyone who watches it. This is a proprietary technology that we've been developing over the years, and now we're just starting to release it to manufacturers and to consumers. So what are the main benefits? First, it's universal. The same content can be shown and shared on any type of 3D display. So I will invite you afterwards, once all this is done, the little booth there, we have a 3D laptop that doesn't require any glasses. You can just sit down and watch the 3D content like it's real life through a window. And we have also a VR headset where you can see the same content with a different device. The second benefit is natural and lifelike. It doesn't feel weird. It doesn't feel compressed or stretched. It feels like you're watching real life in front of you. Third, it's comfortable. We adapt perfectly for the people, but we also, like, if you have a kid has eyes that are closer than adults. They don't see 3D the same way we see 3D. So you have to adjust it. We do the adjustment. We take care of that. It's intuitive. One of the fun thing about what we do is people can zoom in 3D. So they zoom in and they go see an object that's behind, bring it forward, etc. And lastly, it's compatible with all 3D content. We're compatible with 200-year-old photographs. We're compatible with iPhone 16 content. We can deal with anything out there, which makes it very convenient and makes you able to have access to any content that you want. So we have three major markets that we're targeting. The first one is the 3D and XR device makers. So yes, if we're in Korea, obviously Samsung and LG, but all the manufacturers of VR headsets or MR headsets or laptops or phones, they're our customers. We're also, here it says Stereograph. Yes, that's a personal favorite. I love history. So I love to bring these collections, but it's any content distributor. So we're currently talking, for example, with Disney Plus. They have Disney Plus has a 3D version for the Apple Vision Pro. We want to take that content and make all the 3D movies that they have available on all the devices out there. And the third one is directly to B2C. So coming up next year, we'll have a service where people, once they have their iPhone 16, can take a picture, upload it to the cloud, connect to their account on whatever device they have, and see beautiful, natural, comfortable 3D. So our team, well, obviously, you can see that I'm pretty passionate about 3D. I've been doing this for the last 25 years. I had a company before, took it public, been very successful in the fields of 3D TVs and in the theatrical live 3D presentations. And now I've tackled this problem with a wonderful team of expert engineers who have been developing multimedia applications for many, many years, and top researchers that have studied in the 3D field and are expert as well in AI and generative AI to create new 3D content and 3D menus. So that's it. We just concluded our pre-seed round, so I'm not raising any money right now. But our milestones is we're now working on integrating our first display makers. So we're working currently with, well, cannot exactly name them, but we have a few display makers that are working in integrating our technology. We're going to deploy with the first 3D content distributors. We are working as well on new features that are going to make 3D even more enjoyable, like snap filters. And so you take a 3D picture of someone and then you see butterflies flying around, or you barf a rainbow or whatever. These are the kind of things that we're going to do, but we're going to do in 3D. So now you're going to have a full 3D environment to play with and to have fun with. And we're going to be launching our B2C solution very soon. So that's it for me. That's my 8 minutes. But I invite you all, if you want to have a good experience and see something that's totally different, come by our booth a little later and be happy to show you all that. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much for the wonderful presentation. We have 2 more presentations left, so please do stay with us until the very end. Next, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to turn over the floor to Ms. Yubin Kim, the founder of Paprika Data Labs. Ladies and gentlemen, please greet her with a big round of applause. 여러분 큰 박수 부탁드리겠습니다.
네, 안녕하세요. 저는 한국말로 진행을 하겠습니다. 저는 주식회사 파프리카 데이터랩 대표 김유빈입니다. 저희는 한국에 모회사가 있고 캐나다에 자회사가 있어서 오늘은 캐나다의 자회사로서 나오게 되었습니다. 저희는 왈라라는 서비스를 만들고 있는데요. 여러분들 구글 폼 많이 써보셨죠? 기업을 위한 구글 폼이라고 생각하시면 조금 편할 것 같습니다. 이전에 저는 서울대학교 공동연구개발기관장으로서 데이터 관련해서 연구를 진행을 했었었고, 그리고 그 이후에 캐바라는 어플리케이션을 통해서 데이터를 수집을 도왔던 그런 경험이 있습니다. 그런데 하다가 중간에 문득 그런 생각이 드는 거예요. 사람들은 데이터를 어떻게 수집을 하고 있지? 이 앱이 아니라 다른 방식으로 수집을 하고 있는 것 같은데 그건 뭘까라고 봤을 때 많은 기업들을 인터뷰를 했습니다. 근데 제가 알게 된 거는 구글 폼으로 하고 있는 거였어요. 그런데 여러분들 한 번쯤 뭐 팀플이나 간단하게 구글 폼을 사용을 해보셨다면 아시겠지만 구글 폼은 주관식, 객관식 응답을 받을 수 있고, 그리고 구글 시트에서 간단한 분석을 제공하는 정도만 제공을 하고 있단 말이죠. 그래서 사실 기업에서 사용하기에는 턱없이 부족했음에도 불구하고 구글 폼을 사용할 수밖에 없는 상황이었습니다. 다른 대안이 많이 없었으니까요. 그래서 저희는 그러면 기업에서 조금 더 데이터를 쉽게 수집할 수 있고 분석할 수 있도록 하는 서비스를 만들자라는 취지에서 왈라를 만들게 되었습니다. 왈라는 이전에 오픈 서베이나 서베이 몽키처럼 아웃바운드, 그러니까 이제 외주를 맡겨서 데이터를 수집했던 기존의 산업 환경에서 이제 조금 더 진화한, 현재에 조금 더 맞춰진 서비스라고 보실 수 있는데요. 최근에 들어서 인바운드 리서치, 즉 기업 내부에서 실행하는 리서치가 70% 이상으로 전환될 정도로 기업 내부에서 촘촘하게 고객 데이터를 수집하거나 만족도 조사를 진행을 하고 있습니다. 그런데 이런 만족도 조사를 진행을 하는 걸 3명의 그 담당자분들이 진행을 평균적으로 하고 계셨고, 그리고 하루 평균 5시간 정도 데이터를 분석하고 4만 개 이상의 데이터를 한 달 동안 분석을 해야만 했습니다. 그래서 그들의 일과를 정리해 보니까 데이터를 수집을 하기 위한 인터뷰 과정, 그리고 데이터를 분석하는 과정에서 정말 긴 시간이 투여가 되었었습니다. 그럼 이 과정에서 시간을 조금 더 단축하고 기업 내부에서 발생하는 공수를 줄여서 더욱 효율적으로 시간을 사용할 수 있도록 해서 기업의 리소스를 굉장히 최적으로 사용할 수 있는 방법은 뭐가 있을까라고 보았을 때 저희는 이런 파편화된 데이터 수집 및 분석 구조를 볼 수 있었습니다. 보시다시피 데이터를 수집할 때 구글 폼으로 수집을 하고 응답자를 찾기 위해서 이곳저곳에서 광고를 돌리거나 사람들을 불러보고, 그리고 응답을 분석하기 위해서 다시 구글 시트로 옮겼다가 기프티콘 같은 리워드를 구매를 하기 위해서 기프티쇼에서 다시 또 리워드를 구매를 하고, 이 리워드를 다시 뭐 문자나 아니면 지메일로 주고 받아야 되며, 이거에 대한 응답 분석은 또 다시 루커 스튜디오나 더 전문적인 툴로 넘어가서 해야만 하는 이런 파편화된 어려움이 있었습니다. 근데 이게 단순히 시간적으로 그리고 노력에 대한 문제뿐만이 아니라 이렇게 됐을 때 그 고객의 데이터도 여기저기로 다 파편화돼서 넘어가게 되는 것이 또한 문제였죠. 그래서 저희는 여러 기업들이 가지고 있었던 공통적인 문제점을 하나로 합쳐서 새로운 서비스인 왈라를 만들게 됐습니다. 왈라는 기업에서 데이터를 쉽게 수집하고 분석할 수 있는 툴을 제공하고 있습니다. 그래서 23가지의 지금 현재는 데이터 필드를 가지고 있는데, 이거는 단순히 주관식, 객관식 응답뿐만이 아니라 위치 혹은 파일 혹은 뭐 사진 즉시 실시간 촬영을 한다거나 아니면 결제를 받는다거나 혹은 전화번호, 이메일을 수집할 수 있는 다양한 필드들을 모듈 형식으로 조합해서 사용하실 수 있는 것이 특징이고요. 그리고 조회수, 이탈률 같이 이전에 구글 폼 같은 툴에서는 제공하지 않았던 데이터들도 제공을 하게 됩니다. 그리고 기업에서 맞춤형으로 사용하실 수 있도록 링크를 커스터마이제이션 하거나 혹은 더 아름답게, 더 예쁘게 보일 수 있도록 색깔도 바꿀 수가 있습니다. 저희가 가장 특화되게 생각하고 있는 부분이 기업에서 데이터를 분석을 할 때 자동으로 분석해주는 서비스가 저희의 가장 키포인트라고 할 수 있는데요. 예를 들어서 조회수, 이탈률, 시작수, 완료율 이런 것뿐만이 아니라 문항별로 언제, 어디서 누가 어떻게 이탈을 했는지, 어느 정도 시간이 소요되는지 또 다 트래킹을 하실 수 있고, 그리고 데이터 같은 경우에 만약에 주관식 응답에 대한 문항이 하나라도 들어가 있으면 그 시간은 정말 배로 늘어나게 되거든요. 분석 시간이. 예를 들어서 제가 오늘 여기 와서 만족도 조사 트라이 에브리띵은 뭘 쓸까 했는데 왈라는 아니더라고요. 여기서는 구글 폼을 쓰고 있었는데 제가 봤을 때 한 가지 문항이 있었어요. 뭐였냐면 이 행사에서 뭐 가장 마음에 들었던 부분은 뭐였나요? 이런 문항이 있었거든요. 근데 그 문항을 지금 여기 오셨던 모든 분들이 하나씩만 응답을 해도 이거 분석하시는 분 혹시 여기 계시면 굉장히 힘든 시간을 보내면서 하나씩 다 보시고 아 이게 누군가는 이렇게 생각했구나 아니면 이 부분이 불편했구나 이 응답 분석을 다 하나씩 해야 된다는 겁니다. 저희는 이 부분을 조금 더 쉽게 하실 수 있도록 분석 자동화를 하고 있습니다. 간단히 말해서 고객 그 VOC 자동화라고 분석 자동화라고 보시면 되는데요. 보통 데이터를 분석하시는 분들, 전문가분들께서는 뭐 K민즈 클러스터링 이런 말들을 많이 들어보셨을 겁니다. 근데 이게 단순히 전문가의 분야에서만 사용이 되는 것이 아니라 정말 VOC를 분석하는 입장에서 CX 리서처 분들, 그러니까 데이터를 완전히 막 데이터 사이언티스트처럼 분석하지 않아도 쉽게 사용하실 수 있도록 만들었는데요. 예를 들어서 K민즈 클러스터링이 뭐냐 하면은 이제 분류의 기준이 없는데 몇 개로 분류해야 되는지 한 5개다, 3개다 이 정도 숫자만 알고 있으면 자동으로 분류해 주는 게 K민즈 클러스터링이고요. 키워드 애널리시스는 지금 있는 키워드들에 대해서 예를 들어서 주관식 응답을 몇십만 개를 받았어요. 저희 고객사 중에 3.3 있는데 매달 40만 개 혹은 60만 개씩 데이터를 받고 있거든요. 그런 데이터들에서 있는 그 검색을 할 수 있다는 거죠. 문항의 응답에 대한 검색을 하실 수가 있고 제로샷 클래시피케이션처럼 각각의 그 문항들에 대한 응답들에서 어떤 클래스로서 구분을 해서 구분을 하고 싶다라고 했을 때 이렇게 구분도 하실 수 있고 혹은 이전에 했었던 AI 자동 응답 분석에 대해서 더 나은 방향으로 더 똑똑해진 인공지능을 만들 수 있도록 SVM 재학습을 시킬 수가 있습니다. 이전에 방금 말씀드렸던 이런 조금 복잡한 걸 다 차치하고서라도 사실 왈라는 굉장히 매력적인 서비스입니다. 왜 그러냐 했을 때 폼 분석 그리고 알림, 자동 설정, 폼에 대한 배분 그리고 분석 그리고 한국에서 정말 많이 하고 있는 기프티콘을 전달해 드립니다. 여기까지가 다 왈라에서 가능하게 됩니다. 그래서 이러한 효율적인 데이터의 처리 덕분에 이전에 구글 폼이나 다른 툴을 사용하셨던 분들은 87.5%가 업무가 감소가 되셨고요. 그리고 이로 인해서 1260시간을 기업에서는 세이브할 수 있게 된 것이죠. 그리고 이 1260시간을 다시 환산해 보았을 때 기업에서는 한 해에 4천만 원 정도 비용을 아낄 수가 있었던 겁니다. 그래서 다양한 기업에서 왈라를 사용해서 데이터의 효율화를 이끌어내고 있습니다. 저희는 끊임없이 성장을 하고 있는 기업인데요. 현재 160개국에서 2만 6천 명, 지금 조금 더 늘어서서 2만 7천 명의 사용자분들이 문항을 만들고 계시고 매달 100만 개 이상의 데이터가 들어오고 있습니다. 왈라는 짜잔이라는 프렌치에서 나온 말이기도 해요. 왈라 이런 말이기도 합니다. 네, 저희는 어떤 식으로 세상을 짜잔하고 놀래키고 싶냐면요. 지금 현재 제가 생각했을 때 의사결정의 방식, 기업의 의사결정의 방식이 뭐냐라고 했을 때 대부분 저 같은 이제 대표가 하라는 대로 하는 그런 방식이 많은 것 같아요. 근데 우리가 기업에서 데이터를 도입을 하는 이유는 누군가 한 명의 독단적인 결정에 의한 의사결정이 아니라 정말 합리적인 효율적인 생각을 가진 사람들이 이렇게 이런 데이터가 있더라 하는 이 데이터를 보고 이 데이터를 통해서 얻은 인사이트로 더 합리적인 결정을 내릴 수 있는 세상이 될 수 있도록 하기 위해서 우린 데이터를 사용한다고 생각하거든요. 그래서 더 많은 사람들이 데이터의 분석이나 수집에 대한 장벽 없이 데이터를 활용하실 수 있도록 하는 것이 저희의 가장 큰 목표입니다. 그래서 여러분도 앞으로 저희 왈라의 여정 많은 관심 부탁드립니다. 감사합니다.
Thank you very much for the inspiring presentation. And now we have come to our fifth and our final presentation. The final presentation will be from Ms. Sandrine Lazal, the president of Zebra Strategy. So ladies and gentlemen, please greet her with a big round of applause.
안녕하세요. I am Sandrine Lassalle, the CEO of Zebra Strategy. Zebra Strategy is an international strategy company, and we are. Oh, sorry. So we want to be the bridge to your global success in Europe and in Canada and Quebec, especially. Zebra Strategy is almost fully translated platform services where you can find all the information that you need if you want to export or to navigate into the European and Canadian markets. What are the problems that we are trying to solve? Firstly, when you are thinking of entering the European or Canadian market, if you want to go to Quebec, for example, people I met, Korean companies that I met last week, they told me, I don't know if there is an interest for my product or services. That's why you need a study market, and we are here for that. You know also that you need to be in compliance with the local law and regulation, so we are here to give you advices about that. And also, we can help you with your strategy to ensure a smooth entry. The second service that we propose, it's the go-to-market. If you want to establish a solid presence in Canada and in Quebec, we've got some teams located in Canada, but also in France. And we can manage and to give you all the contact that you need. Also, of course, we work with the Quebec government and with all their partnerships. And we can develop your strategic networks. And also, we can be there because, as you have seen, Quebec is a very, very big place. It's 17 times Korea with low population. But the trips between two towns are very long. So sometimes you need information about logistics and distribution. So we are here for that too. And finally, we've got a marketing strategy division because you need to adapt your products. A Korean product, you cannot sell them like that in Europe or in the North American market. And so we are here to help you with that. We've got some experts in our division. So the main problems are regulation. You have heard about the GDPR in Europe, I guess, no? Data privacy regulations. So we've got something similar in Quebec that we call the Law 25, and you need to be in compliance with that. And pretty soon you're going to have the Law 96. 96, is that correct? Yes. And so this is the French translation of all your document and website. That this is the language barrier that we are talking about here. Also, we've got all the international standard compliance because sometimes it's not only the government that asks you to be in compliance, but your customer. In Europe, for example, customers ask you to be for the food industry in IFS or BRC standard. You've got also for the medtech sectors some requirements. So we've got some experts that can help you with this part also. There are also supply chain and distribution systems that are very different in Europe and in Quebec. This is not exactly the same. I guess that in Korea that's completely different too. We are here also to establish a local presence for you. We've got this is the operational part, and we've got a team in France and a team in Quebec for that. So you don't need to come and to stay for 7 months or a year if you want. You can be here for you. So this is our product and services. So the first one here, this is all our aspect. We prepare you for the Canadian European market and adapt strategy and compliance with local regulations. That I told you about market analysis, regulatory compliance, setting standards, and of course, intellectual property. And we also can be your team or your staff in Europe or in Quebec if you want to expand. If you want to expand internationally with local support from our teams. And we can hire, we've got specialists of human resources, so for recruitment and HR management. And we also have a division to finding grants because in Canada they are very generous. There are more than 4,600 grants and programs that you can ask and apply for. And also with the international marketing strategy that I told you about, it's all about market analysis and cultural insights that I told you that the cultural insights are very important. And also brand and communication strategy, global digital marketing, product adaptation, of course. Sometimes you need to change your ingredients in several of your products because it's not allowed in the country. This is how. So, what kind of target customer do we target? All of them, I can say, but mostly Korean cosmetics are very famous, you know. Fashion also. Food, Korean food is very famous too. We love your food and we enjoy to eat it. So if you can't export them, European people and Canadian people, we enjoy it. I'm sure that. Green tech and clean tech, you know that in Quebec there is a very, very big industry in green tech. Andrew and Damien talked to you about that. So if you are in this kind of industry, come to join us. And also IT, fashion in France, of course, you know that. Agri-tech and IT and technology too. Our business model, alors, we are trying to implement IA in our platform services that will allow you just to give your information about your product or services, and after you will have all the information and about the market that you want to target. They will tell you what will be the regulation that you need to be on compliance with, all the requirements, etc., and so on. But this is in progress. We are working with Mila to do that. Why Korea? Because everybody all over the world are talking about Korea now. So we think that this is a good place. We are also in France with an office in France and an office. Our headquarters is in Canada, in Montreal. So we wanted to have a presence in Asia, and we thought that Korea would be a very good place for us. Our partner, with the Canadian partners, of course, the government of Quebec, with the MedTech, Mila, Mitax, Santex, they are accelerators. I'm a coach in accelerators in Quebec also. That's why I know them very well. Of course, the European partners. I'm the board member of the French Tech of Montreal and the French government, Chamber of Commerce. We've got some Korean company we work with. It's Rainmaking Expand and Kinexis. Of course, I've been contacted by several accelerators last week, so I hope we're going to work and collaborate together. And we expect to have partners with NRF, Kiat, KIST, and A3. And also, this is the president of the Nouvelle-Aquitaine region in France, but we expect to work with other. We know them very well because I'm from this region in France, so that's why I put this picture on the presentation. This is our team. So I'm here, over there. So I'm specialized in regulation because I've got a master in law and I'm also a teacher on international trade law in the University of Montreal, HEC. And we've got some Sophie right there. She's a human resources expert, such as Amélie there. So they can hire people and tell you everything about employees in Canada. You've got Luce. She's our graphic design expert. We've got also other members in our team. All these people here, Jenny, Jean-Sébastien, Guillaume, Cécile, Cyriac, they are all experts in certification. Then, quality system management. Jenny is specialized in medtech, and Jean-Sébastien and Guillaume in the food industry, and Cyriac, the energy management, is an energy management expert. Also, Thomas is the guy in charge of the operational part in Quebec. And that's it. And we've got Philippe also, is our government relation expert. He worked for the government in Ottawa a few years ago. Sorry. And also, of course, Cécile. I don't talk about her. She's our communication director. She's an expert in interculturality. So this is us with all our partners. This is the Belgian government. This is the French Tech of Montreal. You saw this picture. This is the ambassador. He was the ambassador of Belgium in Montreal. Now he's the ambassador of Turkey. This is the Canadian government. They are French here. This is the Food Ministry of Quebec. And the Santec, this is the accelerator I told you about. Huh? Doesn't work? So I'm a member of the Korean Association in Montreal also. And that's it.
Thank you very much for the wonderful presentation. So thank you once again to all the presenters for the insightful presentations, and I hope you enjoyed this inspiring session and found it informative as well. Please don't forget to visit the Quebec booth once more if you have any questions or for more information, and do not miss out on anything that's happening right there. And so this concludes our Quebec Meets Seoul session. Thank you once again to everyone for being with us until the very end. And also, Indonesian startup session will commence here from 12:30. So we look forward to your participation as well. Thank you very much.